Breaking news. MS Now has just learned that FBI Director Kash Patel may be out of a job in the coming months. 3 people with knowledge of the situation say President Trump and his top aides have grown tired of Patel and the unflattering headlines he's been generating recently, including using a government jet to visit his girlfriend and enlisting a SWAT team as her security detail.
I guess we can officially say Kash Patel's FBI director dreams are dead. Because just an hour ago, insiders confirmed that Donald Trump privately told his circle he no longer wants Kash Patel anywhere near the FBI, saying the quality isn't there. And trust me, that's not even the craziest part. Trump has reportedly arranged a full SWAT-style security detail for his new teenage girlfriend. Yes, you heard that right. And while Republicans pretend this is normal, we all know there's a much darker reason behind the sudden distance, a reason tied directly to Epstein. We'll get to that in a moment, but first, just watch this video.
The president is considering replacing him by the end of the year with Andrew Bailey, the former Attorney General of Missouri, who is acting now as co-deputy FBI director, along with Dan Bongino. And it's for all the reasons that you just said and others. The use of taxpayer resources, the flying his girlfriend around on the FBI jet, but also the premature tweets, including related to the Charlie Kirk assassination and other investigations, that terrorist attack in Michigan where Patel got out in front of the investigation and tweeted about the arrest before the rest of the government was ready for that to happen. So Pam Bondi and Todd Blanche of the Justice Department have been annoyed with Patel for a long time, although they've publicly denied it when others have reported it. And now it's increasingly clear that the White House is as well. Now, our reporting this may actually enhance his job security, right? So it's hard to know exactly what's going to happen, but that is the reporting at this hour.
That's honestly wonderful news for Democrats and for anyone with eyes, because it's been obvious for months that Kash Patel is completely out of his depth. And now that the entire Trump regime is collapsing in real time, Trump is scrambling to patch leaks and fix the mess. But nothing he touches is working. Every move he makes is backfiring. Every attempt to regain control is blowing up in his face, and everything around him is spiraling sideways.
FBI Director Kash Patel has been very busy and doing a great job. Also, thank you, Kash.
Was that scripted? Was that always intended to be there, or was he responding to a question, Laura?
Look, I will say that right before we went out there for that turkey pardon, I had asked the White House for comment on this story. And so because sources had been telling me, those that were talking to Carol and Ken were also telling us that essentially this ouster could be closer than ever. And part of that is because Andrew Bailey would now be able to take that role after reaching this 90-day requirement for being in that position. And so the White House had responded to me right before this event started. White House spokesperson Abigail Jackson, not denying it outright, not calling this false, but she did say that the FBI Director Patel is a critical member of the president's team and that he's working tirelessly to ensure the integrity of the FBI. That's what Abigail Jackson, the White House spokeswoman, said. And then after that, I went out there for the turkey pardon into the Rose Garden. And I thought it was interesting that the president said, thanked him and said that he was doing a, quote, great job. And then there was some clapping and the president said, see, Kash, you have a following. So was it scripted? That's the timing when it happened. But this appears closer than it's ever been before because, of course, sources close to the White House have told me that they've definitely heard grumblings about Patel for all the reasons that Ken laid out. But this time around, more because of the back-to-back bad headlines about Patel's use of government resources seems to really be pushing those around the president and allies to the edge when it comes to Patel.
What's interesting is that during the Biden administration, the GOP spent every waking minute screaming about abuse of power, private jets, corruption, and government officials living like royalty. But Trump didn't fix any of that. He made it worse, much worse. And honestly, his entire cabinet is a joke. Hegseth, Pam Bondi, Rubio, RFK Jr., McMahon, Kristi Noem, Rollins, the whole lineup. Either Trump intentionally picked the worst people he could find, or he truly couldn't find anyone remotely competent. And with Trump himself included, every single one of them lies with the confidence of a professional con artist.
You replied, according to the transcript, there is no credible information that he trafficked them to anyone else. According to victims who cooperated with the FBI in that investigation, these documents in FBI possession, your possession, detail at least 20 men, including Mr. Jess Staley, CEO of Barclays Bank, who Jeffrey Epstein trafficked victims to. That list also includes at least 19 other individuals, one Hollywood producer worth a few $100 million, one royal prince, one high-profile individual in the music industry, one very prominent banker, one high-profile government official, one high-profile former politician, one owner of a car company in Italy, one rock star, one magician, at least 6 billionaires, including a billionaire from Canada.
And right now, every Democrat is taking their chance to finally rip the mask off and expose who these people really are. And this might be the very first time Jasmine Crockett gives Trump exactly what he deserves, right to his face, with no hesitation and no mercy.
Including this one, because I did have to make sure that I wasn't going crazy. But when I say that you are the least qualified FBI director in the history of the FBI, that is real, because you are the only one that never even served with the FBI prior to joining. Yet we are supposed to believe that you are the greatest thing since sliced bread. I didn't ask you a question. Now, what I want to go through is to talk about why you are a failure and why, honestly, we just need to tell you bye-bye. I know that you got a little upset and you put on your show for your boss because it seems like you're trying to save your job when it came to talking to Senator Booker yesterday.
And what's crazy to me is this. Just days before those 250 emails were released, Kash Patel was out there speaking in public, puffing his chest, threatening to arrest Adam Schiff if his name showed up anywhere near Jeffrey Epstein. But here's the twist. Kash himself is now tangled in the very mess he claimed he was ready to expose. Congressman Massey even revealed that Kash Patel's own deputy threatened him with a criminal probe before they ever bothered to investigate the January 6th pipe bomb case or the Epstein cover-up. And now, Alex Jones and constitutional lawyer Robert Barnes are breaking down this entire meltdown because it exposes exactly how deep this corruption goes and how desperate Kash and the Trump circle have become as the clock runs out.
I'm going to say this here on camera because it's important. One of Kash Patel's staff threatened my staff with a criminal investigation if we didn't straighten up and play ball.
I was going to ask you about that, but since you brought it up, and I didn't
I'm bringing it up.
Okay, you brought it up.
And so, like a criminal investigation having nothing to do, he said it was going to be a fraud. We're going to investigate one of your staff for fraud. Right. And he told another one of my staff this. If you guys don't straighten up, you know, if you want to play hardball, if this is how you want to play it or something like that, this member of your staff is going to get criminally investigated for fraud. A very specific threat.
Right.
And that had just happened. So I told Bongino, I said, one of your guys is threatening my guys with an FBI investigation if we don't do what you want. And he said, I'll take care of that. I'll take care of that. Because even he understood that was not a good look. It's probably illegal, right? So the fallout of that is the FBI employee who threatened my staff. I have to tell you all this, by the way, Steve, and I have to tell all the listeners this, because this is the context in which I'm worried for the whistleblower.
And here's another clip you absolutely need to see. Kash Patel turning the entire SWAT team into a punchline, embarrassing himself and humiliating the FBI in the process. He wasn't projecting confidence. He wasn't showing leadership. He was making a mockery of the very agency he claims he wants to run. It's the kind of meltdown that tells you everything. These people aren't serious, they aren't stable, and they definitely shouldn't be anywhere near the highest levels of law enforcement.
Yes, and the SWAT team reference, just to make sure our viewers understand, goes back to our reporting that members of the SWAT team in Nashville have been deployed as a security detail for Kash Patel's country singer girlfriend who lives in Nashville. And the New York Times has reported that other SWAT details from other cities have also been enlisted in that cause. What's also interesting, and you're absolutely right, Katie, that those kinds of things, that Donald Trump has a track record of looking on with distaste and disdain. But what's also interesting is that Kash Patel is under fire from MAGA activists for things that probably our viewers are not paying attention to. There's a series of conspiracy theories, for example, about the January 6th pipe bombs. That case remains unsolved. A lot of people in the MAGA world have these unfounded beliefs that somehow the government was involved, that the FBI is covering up. And Kash Patel and Dan Bongino have not been as forthcoming as these people would like about that case. So they're mad about that. They were also angry the other day when they essentially leaked a story to Fox News, or did an interview with Fox News, and laid out their findings in the assassination plot against Donald Trump, and essentially said the guy acted alone, there's no larger conspiracy. That runs against a lot of conspiracy theories that are percolating in MAGA world right now. And so it's a really interesting dichotomy. You have, so every current and former FBI agent I've ever talked to has absolute disdain for the way Kash Patel is running the Bureau. But then you also have the MAGA right that's not happy with Kash Patel.